Continuing from the previous episode 1685. Forget it, since this undying Saint Tan space is so mysterious, let's take out the domain of the body first, and it will save a lot of time. With the departure of Xiao Zuoma, Xiao Yan originally wanted to leave directly. Go, but fortunately, this place can last a month outside, so Xiao Yan intends to stay and completely solve the internal affairs. The source of undead fire is to break and stand up. Although this thing is mysterious, it is also a great help. However, it seems that this thing is too tasteless for me. I am afraid that it will need to bloom in the future. Its brilliance. The gray flame on the palm of the hand slowly beat, Xiao Yan said with mixed joy and worry. I'm afraid it will be the Second World War. I don't know if the teacher succeeded. It seems that before I leave here, I have to adjust my strength to the peak. After I go out, I can do my best for the teacher and the others. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Yan suddenly clenched his fists slowly. In the middle stage of the 5-star fighting immortal, coupled with the various means on Xiao Yan's body, he now has the capital to confront the enemy head-on. As long as he does not encounter a particularly abnormal 6-star fighting immortal powerhouse, Xiao Yan can fight against it. Now in the body, the power of Xiao Lei's soul clone is as strong as mine, which can be described as a trump card. With the addition of the Dragon God's third transformation Tyrant's Pattern Defense, and the Fire Guard's *** of Assassination, Lurking, Domain, Fighting Spirit. However, the most important thing is these few holy flames. There is not enough time now. Otherwise, the products of the fusion of several holy flames will not be inferior to the top 15 holy flames in power. Xiao Yan sensed the bright light in his body. A few holy flames, excitedly said. However, this is something that can't be helped. Although there are 4 holy flames in Xiao Yan's body now, except for Mu Yingying's holy flames that cannot be used, the other 3 are separate and not integrated. First, integration requires a lot of time. Second, it came to fear the powerhouses of the ghost world, because once the ghost face and soul flames fuse, the power released in an instant will make Xiao Yan fall into a real crisis. But if these 3 holy flames fuse, the new holy flames will probably not be better than the top ones. 15's holy flame is weak. First adjust the breath to the peak, and then solve the 2-domain war. Look for acacia broken enteric inflammation, Yingying, wait for me. Xiao Yan said contentedly, placing his palm on his chest. A trace of warmth emerged. Acacia flame territory, come out. After a while, Xiao Yan's pupils suddenly trembled, and the dazzling energy completely surrounded Xiao Yan like a tide. Crash! With Xiao Yan's voice, a burst of pink power like ripples spread out in all directions with Xiao Yan as the center. 5-star fighting immortal late stage? With the formation of the pink realm, Xiao Yan opened his mouth slightly. Because of the mysterious power of lovesickness in the acacia flame domain, as early as in the semi-realm, it could weaken the enemy by 1 level and increase his own power by a small level. Xiao Yan was not too surprised by this. Is the range of the half-field only a few hundred meters? After a while, feeling the extremely strong dominance in the field, Xiao Yan casually glanced at himself and the half-field was completely covered within 100 meters, and said immediately. It doesn't matter, with my current strength, I can completely shape the half-field, but I don't know if anything unexpected will appear. As he spoke, Xiao Yan's palm filled with profound aura. At this time, the fighting chi was still the normal red, but the tyranny of the fighting chi was several times that of normal people. After all, after being tempered by Xiao Yan's holy flame, the power would be appalling, but if Xiao Yan merged with the holy flame, the fighting chi would using the fusion of holy flames instead. That kind of formidable power, I am afraid it is enough to achieve the real killing invisible. Shoo shoo! Brilliant Do Chi continued to emerge from Xiao Yan's body, and immediately poured into the half-field of several hundred meters, the acacia flame realm, and with Xiao Yan's actions, the pinkish pink inside this half-field was then injected. The space of color actually turned into a thick pink liquid, which immediately paved the way for a field with a size of 100 meters to a kilometer, and even this field was full of mysterious power. Hoo-hoo. A few days passed in a blink of an eye. Xiao Yan used his power quite lightly these days, and Xiao Yan found that only 5-star fighting immortals can control the domain, and the repairs are only half completed in the past few days. In the realm, the fighting spirit required is far from being comparable to a 4-star fighting immortal. This is finally complete, the Acacia Flame Realm in its true state. Xiao Yan was in it, looking down at this void like a master from a height below zero, and said with satisfaction. Acacia Flame Domain in its true state. This is a pink void. The void is only a kilometer in size, but the gray flames and pink liquid filled everywhere inside make it extremely mysterious and dangerous. In the Acacia Flame Domain, there is not only Xiao Yan's immortal fire breath, but also the power of pink acacia that has been brought from the acacia tree. The power of acacia is mysterious and unpredictable, even Xiao Yan is just a half understood. It's time to go. After a little induction, I found that Acacia Yanyu didn't change much after reducing the enemy by 1 level and strengthening me by 1 level. However, if others were involved here, Xiao Yan would be enough. Confidence kills it. Wait, this is it? Just when Xiao Yan just put away the pink field, Xiao Yan's whole body, a gray mist spread out, also the size of thousands of meters, but within the gray mist the power contained is actually suffocating. The field. Undying fire territory? Just when Xiao Yan was puzzled, the holy flame crystal of undying fire, which was hidden by Xiao Yan in the Do Chi Sea, trembled abruptly, and a majestic message poured into Xiao Yan's mind. The realm of undead fire, the realm of undead fire. Having this realm is enough to die once in the true sense. After filtering the majestic information, some important words were extracted. Death once? Xiao Yan wondered for a while. Death means being in the realm. If you are hit by a fatal blow from a powerhouse under the 7-star fighting immortals, you can rely on the power of the undead fire realm to avoid it or be reborn. Gushing. That is to say, if you encounter a fatal situation, you can rely on the power of this domain to avoid a fatal blow? Xiao Yan said in shock. Nice one. The undying fire domain can now withstand a fatal blow from a 7-star fighting immortal powerhouse, and the upper limit will become higher as the domain increases. However, just one of the 2 fields consumes too much. I'm afraid you can only use one of them in a fight, but that's enough. Let's go. He glanced at the back lightly, and immediately Xiao Yan walked towards the outside world without any hesitation. At the same time, only 6 months have passed in the outside world, and in these 6 months, Li Hanyu has already been in a lot of war. The real chapter was written just now. Continuing from the previous episode 1686. Under Li's soul domain, outside the holy tan of the undying. Damn bastard, it's actually 3 holy flames coexisting in one body. How is this possible? On a quiet path, dozens of figures were hidden here. This is the only way to leave the holy tan of the undying. As for the people who are guarding this place at this time, it is the powerful people from the Court of Adjudication. The leader is the next disciple of the Court of Judgment, named Btth2, whose strength has reached the late stage of the 5-star Do Xian, with dozens of judgment guards behind him. The lineup was to capture Xiao Yan. Captain, it's been a few months now. The power of flames in the inner space of the holy tan of undying is getting more and more terrifying. Even with our strength, we can't feel the slightest bit that Xiao Yan's middle 4-star fighting immortal stage. I am afraid he has completely fallen to the undead. Inside the holy tan, right? Now that the demons of light are aggressively attacking Li Soul territory, how can we waste time here? We should go to the front line. At this time, some figures were a little sullen in their hearts, and they couldn't help but come to Btth2 with rather ugly faces and said, I can't blame them. After all, they have been waiting here for nearly half a year, and they have been inseparable for half a year, even if they have not let go of the flies. For this reason, Xiao Yan's figure is still missing. Things have made Li Hanyu panic now, so their tense hearts can't help but become so violent. No, Xiao Yan is carrying 3 holy flames. If he can be captured, it will greatly increase the strength of our Li Soul territory, so this trip, the headmaster has clearly ordered that Xiao Yan must be captured, and we must see it. Humans, died to see corpses. Btth2's azure aura spread out like ripples while he spoke, and the huge aura made the other dozens of adjudication guards feel a little chill in their hearts. Hoo-hoo, it's finally out. I hope it's too late. After Shun-Chi, a depressed figure, carrying a black ruler behind him, stood slightly in the void outside the holy tan of the undying, looking at the void in the distance and muttered. This guy is none other than Xiao Yan, but now Xiao Yan is not what it used to be in terms of strength and aura. Whoa! Who? Get out! Just as Xiaoyan's eyes were withdrawn, his brows suddenly wrinkled, and a dazzling fighting spirit permeated. Xiaoyan, Yu Tianxuan took a step forward. His incomparably dazzling aura was undoubtedly on display, and he sneered. Yu Tianxuan couldn't understand why the powerhouses in the Court of Adjudication ordered him to bring so many powerhouses to arrest Xiaoyan, a mere 4-star fighting immortal mid-level guy who could be wiped out with just one finger. The middle stage of the 4-star fighting immortals? Dozens of people who were surrounded by circles completely blocked Xiaoyan's retreat, and couldn't help but muttered. Today's Xiaoyan's strength has already reached the middle stage of the 5-star fighting immortals, but fortunately, he deliberately suppressed his breath, and coupled with the mysterious suppression of the eternal fire eternal ancient ruler, only such power was revealed. 10 mid 5-star fighting immortals, 1 late 5-star fighting immortal. Is it the Guardian of Judgment? Xiao casually glanced at him and smiled lightly. If he encountered these guys before swallowing the fire of immortality, I am afraid that he would be extremely difficult to deal with, but now that Xiaoyan is facing them, it is unknown who will win and who will lose. Xiaoyan, you have already been listed on the list of trial orders. Don't make senseless resistance, accept the sanctions. Yu Tianxuan stared at Xiaoyan and said word by word. As an outstanding disciple in the Court of Adjudication, Yu Tianxuan's strength is even stronger than Yu Xiao, but he also knows that the strength of Sheng Yan's strength is appalling, so even if Xiaoyan's strength is weak, he does not take it lightly. In a hurry, let's go up together. Xiaoyan shook his head casually, his palms shook gently, and the ancient ruler of eternal fire hangs suddenly pulled out from behind. Extremely arrogant. When I wait for you to be captured, I will let you taste what life is better than death. Dozens of adjudication guards were furious when they heard the words. The alliance of a mid 5-star fighting immortal powerhouse, even a late-stage 5-star fighting immortal powerhouse would not dare to confront him head-on. There's a lot of nonsense. Xiaoyan ignored these guys, and a trace of thunder appeared on his body. With the addition of the ancient ruler of eternal fire on his palm, his figure turned into a ghost and shot at Yu Tianxuan. Thunder attribute? How is that possible? Seeing Xiaoyan's actions like this, Yu Tianxuan couldn't help but wonder, but for a moment he hesitated. His palms changed rapidly, and a dazzling cyan hurricane burst out around him. Xiaoyan did not use the power of flame, but planned to use Xiaolei's power to see if he could defeat these guys. Otherwise, if Xiaoyan in the current state used the power of flame, I am afraid that these people would not be able to get out of Xiaoyan's 3 moves. The fire attributes under the blessing of the 4 holy flames are more than 8 times more powerful than ordinary flames. Thunder Snake. Spreading his palm, he pushed Yu Tianxuan hard. The majestic force turned into a silver snake that was only a few dozen feet in size, and whistled away. The Cyclone Wall. Kill me. Seeing Xiaoyan's weak thunder snake, Yu Tianxuan sneered and slapped Xiaoyan with his palm, and the 100-jong blue hurricane blasted towards Xiaoyan with the power to destroy. Retreat. With this attack from the captain, this guy will definitely die. Seeing Yu Tianxuan's tyrannical attack, dozens of other guards of judgment burst back. What a dazzling wind attribute. It seems that I underestimated it. But I'm in a hurry, so I'm not interested in playing with you. Seeing this dangerous cyan hurricane, Xiaoyan shook his head helplessly. Although Xiaolei's power is tyrannical, Xiaoyan has too few fighting skills, so his attack power is weak. Unable to cope with Yu Tianxuan. Fire. The next moment, a gray flame filled Xiaoyan's body, and after a while, it was like a barren land, completely rendering the range of hundreds of meters. What kind of flame is this? Seeing such mysterious fluctuations on Xiaoyan's body, the other powerhouses couldn't help but murmured. The 7th layer breaking sky ruler. He spoke softly. The ancient ruler of the eternal fire on his palm was wrapped in flames, and he slashed hard at Yu Tianxuan. Boom! 7 giant rulers of gray energy rushed out like poisonous snakes, and then easily penetrated the blue hurricane and attacked Yu Tianxuan. This is Holy Flame Immortal Fire? Impossible. When the giant ruler of 7 flames came to Yu Tianxuan's face was pale, and he finally understood something. Sir, save me. With a cold snort, Yu Tianxuan did not hesitate, and crushed a piece of jade on the palm of his hand. Zoo. The jade was crushed, and an illusory figure appeared. With a wave of his hand, Xiao Yan's 7 giant rulers completely dissipated. Is it the headmaster of the Court of Adjudication? Xiao Yan shook his head helplessly. Judging from this fluctuation, although it was just a soul clone, its strength was also at the level of 7-star fighting immortals. The smell of immortal fire. You actually succeeded? The old man looked at Xiao Yan in a dignified manner and asked in doubt. Forget it, it's time to go. Xiao Yan smiled lightly, and immediately above his body, 3 flames covered and ignited, like a real flame spirit. The head teacher of the Court of Adjudication, dare to touch my master's disciple? Give me death. Just when Xiao Yan was about to be captured by the illusory old man, a loud laugh resounded through the sky. Peefed. With a sound, a black figure appeared, and with a single blow, he wiped out the illusory old man's soul avatar. Then, without any hesitation, he took Xiao Yan and disappeared here. This so-called Soul Eater is at least 8-star in strength. Bastard. People from Soul Eater realm. Yu Tianxuan shook his head viciously at this scene of the old man. He knew that the gray flame on Xiao Yan's body just now was an immortal flame. Xiao Yan, who was blessed by the 4 holy flames, plus the inexplicable relationship between Xiao Yan and Soul Eater. This time, I'm afraid things will change. Continuing from the previous episode 1687, the shadow surged and left the holy tan of the Undying in an instant. This guy isn't a powerhouse in Soul Eater domain. Xiao Yan was casually lifted by the shadow and headed towards some hidden places in Li Soul domain. At first Xiao Yan didn't take it seriously, thinking that this guy was from Soul Eater domain powerhouse, but looking closely now, this guy's aura is extremely strange, and there is a green glow surrounding his black robe. The green glow is extremely domineering and makes one's mind rippling. This kind of strange power is something Xiao Yan has never seen before. Even with Xiao Yan's soul power, he could vaguely feel that this guy has always followed him, but now he is in danger before he takes action. This lord. The two moved quickly. Xiao Yan couldn't help asking. There was already a trace of vigilance in his mind. He. Hearing Xiao Yan's voice, the black shadow stopped moving, and the two stopped on a rock. Immediately, their eyes became deep, and they took off their black robes, revealing their true colors. That weird person from before? Xiao Yan couldn't help being surprised when this guy's ordinary appearance just appeared. This guy is actually the weirdo who stopped him from outside the holy tan of the Undying in the first place. Little guy, He Sha Long Lang was not hypocritical, and grinned. He was no longer arrogant, but treated Xiao Yan quite calmly. Senior, this? Xiao Yan was immediately confused and asked immediately. With the battle just now and Xiao Yan's induction, this guy's strength is probably as strong as Hao Near, and it is a blessing or a curse to be targeted by a powerhouse of this level. I have no ill will towards you, I just want to. Heishan Longling said, and a piece of delicate paper spread out from the palm of his hand. Treasures of the demon world, collect demon sales, and some creatures can be included in it. Crash! Just as the black evil dragon wolf approached Xiao Yan, a black light appeared on Xiao Yan's body, turning into a faint light to protect Xiao Yan. Hey, let's go. After a while, Heishan Longling shook his head helplessly. Farewell. Seeing this, Xiao Yan didn't hesitate, immediately opened his palm, and the space passage in front of him was torn apart. Without any hesitation, he suddenly stepped into the space passage and headed towards the base camp of soul-devouring domain. Isn't it a Soul Eater realm? If the adults are still there, the Soul Eater realm is not worth mentioning. During the speech, a dim light around the Heishan Longling also disappeared, but the power above this dim light, some similar to Hao Near's. And looking at this battle, the battle of the 3 domains is about to begin, so I'm still looking forward to it, he. After Heishan Longling finished speaking, he also disappeared here. Xiao Yan, young man, are you alright? A soft voice sounded shortly after Xiao Yan entered the space. Ghost Son? Xiao Yan followed, but found this acquaintance. This guy was a subordinate of the Master of Soul Eater who was rescued on Icefire Island. After that, he took the Soul Eater talisman to Soul Eater domain to rescue soldiers. Leader of a war. Xiao Yan Xiaoxia has been completely listed as one of the trial list by Li Hanyu, so the adults ordered me to wait for Xiao Yan Xiaoxia again. Ghost Soul said. However, the ghostly soul found that Xiao Yan seemed to have a rather mysterious power at this time, and even his own 6-star fighting immortal was difficult to detect, which made the ghostly soul quite curious. "Well, by the way, the mysterious power just now is?" Xiaoyan asked casually. "It's the Queen's. Well, time is running out. I'll take you to the base camp. The Queen and everyone are waiting for you, and now that the Demon of Light has attacked Li Hanyu for half a year, the real battle between the two sides is about to begin." The voice just ended. The two turned into a black light and moved rapidly in the space channel. Elsewhere in Li Sol territory, the terrifying battles continued, and the demon guards under the Demon of Light were tyrannical. At the beginning of the battle, thousands of demon guards were used to defeat the top leaders of Li Sol territory, but fortunately Li Sol territory the background is not cheap, and after a turnaround, he also resisted the demon guard. However, Rao is that the two forces have been at war for so long, and none of them is stronger than the 8-star fighting immortal level powerhouse, and even the two powerhouses deliberately avoid it. "Where Soul Eater is located, above the spaceship. Your Majesty." At this time, in a quiet house inside the ship, several figures stood quietly, and some of them couldn't help but say, "How's the battle between the Demon of Light and Li Sol territory going?" Hao Near, who was in a high position, frowned and said slightly, and there were bursts of worry on her delicate face. Now the Master of Soul Eater has not yet left the retreat, but with the attack of the Demon of Light, there are too many people who are dissatisfied with these spaceships that gather half of the Soul Eater Xeon. Their trip was to crusade against the Lord of the Soul, and now that the Demon of Light has made a move, their success rate will be greatly increased, but even so, Hao Near, the acting domain master who controls the army, has made many strong men stand still. So the grievances are even worse. I don't know how the battle is going. I take the liberty to ask the Queen. Her Majesty is leading the army here. Is it just to observe and then go back in dismay? At this time, a man in silver armor sat on the seat. Standing up, he clasped his fists and said, with deep resentment in his voice, "Btth, talk about the battle situation." Seeing that nearly 90% of these strong men were so resentful, Hao Near disagreed, and the jade ring on the jade hand turned slightly and said, "Queen, the Demons of Light have now captured 1/5 of the territory in Li Sol territory, but where they passed, there was no blood, no burning, killing, and looting. Instead, it was extremely peaceful. They completely ignore the civilians and general forces in Li Sol territory, but they have used a crazy attack on the lower 5 courtyards of Li Sol territory and the shrine of the Lord of Li Sol. Although they haven't broken any place yet, their subordinates are guessing. Once there is a gap in any of the 5 courtyards, I am afraid that they will directly avoid the 5 courtyards and go to the Temple of the Lord of Souls. Their goal seems to be the Shrine of the Lord of Souls, or the Lord of Souls." Btth said respectfully, "Queen, go ahead. If you don't do it, I'm afraid the fighter plane is fleeting." The figures of the generals also said in a loud voice, "HMPH. I told my master a long time ago that a girl is not good enough." At this time, several white-haired old men among the crowd snorted coldly, their voices filled with dissatisfaction with Hao Near. "Queen, Xiaoyan Xiaosha, return safely." The next moment, in this tense situation, Han Yuzi and Xiaoyan appeared one after another. "Elder Devourer, what do you mean by that?" Hao Near glanced at Xiaoyan lightly, and then turned to look at several old men. "It's a big mistake if you don't fight. If you don't fight, you will waste the opportunity, and the Master will hand the Soul Eater domain into your hands." Ha ha ha, the old man laughed at himself. "Elder Eater, the Queen is now the domain owner of Soul Eater domain. You are blaspheming the Master's order. What should you be guilty of?" In an instant, Btth's ghostly souls shouted loudly, "Let's fight. This time, Li Hanyu must pay the price." Listening to the quarrel in the house, Hao Near smiled slightly, and then suddenly burst out with the majesty of a superpower. The reason why Hao Near has not fought is because of Xiaoyan. Now that Xiaoyan has returned safely, it is naturally the last step. 8 stars. Consummation? It was quiet in an instant. Continuing from the previous episode 1688. Btth, eat the sky, summon all the generals on the current ship, and in 10 minutes, divide the attack route under the master statue. In an instant, with Hao Near's tyrannical voice, the pressure of the superiors permeated. Like a true overlord of heaven and earth, there is no doubt that the Queen's breath is on display. "My subordinates take orders." As Hao Near's voice fell, the eyes of several strong men suddenly glowed with gloom, and they said excitedly, "After waiting for so long, it was finally time to start a complete war," and with Hao Nier's opening, the entire Soul Eater domain also took action, and everyone's grievances against her disappeared. No matter what, Hao Nier's strength Xing is among the top ranks in Soul Eater domain. Outside Soul Eater domain, she is more prosperous under her rule, so everyone is willing to be dispatched. Quote. After a while, only Xiaoyan and Hao Nier were left here. "Senior sister, teacher," seeing no one around, Xiaoyan couldn't help but ask slightly. Teacher should be in a special void at this time to recover his strength, but even if there is a Chidu Diversion Soul Cup, I don't know how long it will take. And now I don't know why, the Demon of Light attacked Li Soul territory with all her strength. This is a fighter that we can't delay. The subordinates are very resentful. If they don't start a war, I'm afraid people will panic. Blinking said, the suppression of the strong men has caused a lot of dissatisfaction, and now it is just taking advantage of Xiaoyan's return to trigger a battle. War. Xiaoyan nodded helplessly. Obviously, a battle of this level is destined to lose many strong people, and such a scene is probably shocking. Senior sister, could this be the conspiracy of the Devil of Light? Xiaoyan asked tentatively. No, the origin of the Light Demon is mysterious, and it is said that the Light Demon and the Master of Li Soul have a mortal hatred, so I don't know the details. And even if it is a conspiracy, it can only be hard, but even if it is a conspiracy, I can make them pay the price. Hao Nier responded, and the voice contained a terrifying fluctuation that was enough to make the world pale. Is there anything I can help? Xiaoyan asked after a few minutes of calm. It's fine for now. However, I found that little junior brother. Your body seems to be a little different from before. At the end of the sentence, Hao Nier said with a smile. Being able to let Hao Nier say this is enough to show how tyrannical the things in Xiaoyan's body are. I devoured the fire of immortality. Now that my strength has reached the mid-stage of the 5-star fighting immortals, I should be able to help senior sister and you. Xiaoyan said directly without concealing it. No wonder. However, this battle involves too much, and there are foreign evil clans and many hidden forces that are eyeing them. You should not participate. This is also to protect you. After all, the identity of the Master of the Holy Flame and the Xiao clan. Look with Xiaoyan like this. Hao Nier hesitated. Senior sister, I'm also the teacher's disciple, and the teacher's hatred, I must participate, and I also need Acacia brokenheartitis. I can't help but participate in this battle. Xiaoyan clenched his fists tightly, and said with a stern brow. But at worst, you're going to die. I won't die, senior sister, believe me. I can't explain to the teacher when you are dead. Sister, you. Inside the quiet house, Xiaoyan and Hao Nier quarreled word by word. Forget it, the master explained it to me before retreating, and it really can't beat you. You can participate in this battle, but remember to do your best. As for Acacia broken enteritis, I am afraid it is still in the hands of the Lord of Li Soul at this time. And according to the news I got, it seems that the retreat of the Lord of Souls is not over. After the outbreak of this war, you can take advantage of the chaos to join the Temple of the Lord of Souls, and I will send you to a team, but you have a special status and are wanted by Li Hanyu, so you need to disguise yourself. Hao Nier kept saying, Did you dress up? Xiaoyan said with a slight smile. The source of Ghost Face and Soul Flame is camouflage. Although this camouflage is only useful for the ghost world, using this kind of camouflage, unless the 8-star fighting immortal powerhouse takes action, otherwise, it will not be detected. Thank you, senior sister. Xiaoyan nodded happily when he heard the words. This is a range that he can accept, and whether it is the second domain war or Acacia Heartbroken, it is very important to Xiaoyan. By the way, senior sister, your power. After a while, Xiaoyan wondered. Now Hao Nier's power has actually reached the 8-star Do Xian consummation, and this level of power is already as tyrannical as the peak-level Soul Eater. In order to make this war a complete success, the teacher gave me the Soul Eater talisman. I devoured it and reached this point. Hao Nier said helplessly. When the Master of Soul Eater gave the Soul Eater talisman to himself, Hao Ni said helplessly. Is resolutely not, because the Soul Eater who broke through the reincarnation needs this thing more than himself. Unfortunately, after the last Soul Eater retreated, Hao Nier found that the soul information left by the teacher was only the same. Let's go, little junior brother. I'll take you to see the powerhouses in our Soul Eater domain. After a while, Hao Nier's silver cloak showed off, setting off her delicate body like a fairy that can't eat fireworks, and the silver mist all over her body, like a real empress of the ages. After a while, the two came to the hall one after the other. The hall is divided into 2 floors. The steps on the second floor go up and down. Below is a crowd of strong people. Dozens of strong people stare at the statues in the hall. As for the top, a statue is lifelike. The black throne slowly appeared, dragons and phoenixes danced on the black throne, and countless supreme powers permeated. Welcome the queen. Seeing Hao Nier's expression, many strong men said in unison. Report to the queen now. There are all the generals on the spaceship in the Soul Eater domain, a total of 152 people, all gathered. Please instruct the queen. Btth was wearing blue armor, like a statue, like a true *** of war. He walks the most solemn etiquette. Everyone, my lord has returned. Everyone can rest assured. Everything that the Lord of Li Soul has committed to our soul-devouring domain must be repaid with blood today. In this battle, only success is allowed, not failure. Btth obeyed and ordered you to bring 1/5 of the strong to attack the court of adjudication of the 5 courts. Yuanhe, order you to bring 1/5 of the strong and Xiaoyan to attack the next fortress of the Senate together. The 2 guardians and elders, follow me to the front line and watch the changes. Remember, before the 5 major courtyards are broken, the 8-star fighting immortals cannot take action, let alone appear. If you encounter the demon guards of the Demon of Light, don't talk to them. It found a conflict. If the demon guard insists on entanglement, it will be cut off. A majestic voice emerged from Hao Nier's indifferent tone. Definitely. Let's go. Immediately, Soul Eater domain belonged to, and left here in a mighty manner, and attacked the 5 major courtyards. For a time, Li Soul domain was facing the simultaneous attack of the Devil of Light and Soul Eater domain, and the situation was quite endangered. Continuing from the previous episode 1689. Li Soul territory. This is an extremely fertile territory, with outstanding ghosts and spirits, with countless heaven's favorites, but now, it is full of wolf smoke, countless gloomy ghosts, and a halo like pure white light. Purify ghosts. The territory of Li Soul territory is extremely vast. Except for some countless forces that are basically vassalized under Li Soul territory, it is the 5 great courts. The 5 courtyards are distributed in turn in the center of Li Soul domain. As for the arrangement of the 5 courtyards, they also vaguely form a pentagram, which is located in the center of the 5-pointed star formation, which is the entrance to the main temple of Li Soul. Today, among the 5 major courtyards, except for the Earth Spirit Institute, the other 4 courtyards suffered heavy losses for a while, but fortunately, the 4 major temples dispatched strong men to ease their predicament a little, but for this reason, they were also extremely uncomfortable. There is just one thing that is quite strange. Whether it is Li Soul domain or the Demon of Light, they only send some backbones to attack and resist. There has never been an 8-star Dushan level powerhouse. The two seem to form some kind of tacit understanding. And now, with the management of the 4 hall masters of Li Soul domain, the demon guards have also been defeated for a while, but the army of Soul Eater domain is trailing behind. The Senate occupies a huge mountain range, and in front of the mountain there is a smooth river that wraps the mountain range. Only by breaking through this river can the Senate be attacked. It is strange to say that the most important targets of the demon guards are actually the Court of Justice and the Court of Adjudication. On the contrary, there are hardly many demon guards in the Senate. Sir, the front is the river at the foot of the Senatorium Mountain. It is said that this river is called Yuanhe. It is a rather strange ghost river, and there are several 6-star fighting immortals guarding it here. The team of dozens of people walked slowly. On the path, one of the scouts couldn't help but say, 6-star fighting immortals, even in such a tense situation, is a very important backbone. And the purpose of their team is to destroy this place, and to explore the background of the Senate and stay behind the strong, so that the main force of Soul Eater field is ready to fall in one fell swoop. This is Hao Nier's genius. First, he sent a team to the battlefield to inquire about news, to avoid unnecessary losses and conflicts with the demon guards. Once the battle situation was thoroughly understood, and most of the entire army of Soul Eater would attack, that would be the real deal. War. The purpose of doing this is also to wait for the return of the Lord of Soul Eater. After all, even if Hao Nier's strength has reached the 8-star Do immortal consummation, when he mentions the Lord of Soul Li, he still feels a little powerless. Xiaoyan Xiaoxia, I don't know what you have in mind. Yuan Feng, who was leading the team, couldn't help asking after listening to the scout's message. Captain Yuan, you're welcome, but I don't think this river is simple. And now there are 11 of us, and there are only 2 of the 6-star Do Xian. If we collide with them head-on, I'm afraid it would not be a wise choice. Xiao Yan looked around and found that not far away from everyone, there was a vast ocean, azure blue. Above the surface of the water, it is quite quiet, but I am afraid that there is no net within it. Today's Xiao Yan is also relying on the power of the ghost face and soul flame to disguise as a simple man, which is difficult for ordinary people to detect, but the ancient ruler of the eternal fire is still on his shoulders. After all, not many people will associate it with him. Captain, I said that young hero Xiao Yan was too vigilant. Now that Li Hanyu has been attacked by the demon of light for several months, people have been panicked. I think this Yuanhe is just a false name. To smooth it out here, to open the way for the adults, to smooth the Senate, then it will be a great achievement. Several others disagreed with Xiao Yan's statement and questioned. The 11-member team, led by Yuanfeng, is in the middle stage of 6-star Do Xian, and one of them is Yuan Yi in the early stage of 6-star Do Xian, and the others are all at the late stage of 5-star Do Xian. Therefore, many people did not like to see Xiao Yan. After all, Xiao Yan's strength was too weak, and Xiao Yan was the disciple of the Master of Soul Eater, and not everyone knew about it. You guys! Yuan Feng immediately frowned when he heard this. Although he didn't know Xiao Yan's identity, how could a guy who could follow Queen Hao Nier in the hall be a generalist? Never mind, let's split up in a while. If you are willing to follow me, let's go together. Xiao Yan looked at the divided team and shook his head helplessly. He knew that his top priority was to enter the temple to look for Acacia Brokenheartitis. Besides, the strong guards here are only 6-star fighting immortals, and it is not difficult for Xiao Yan to fight against him now. Let's go. As soon as the voice fell, 11 people were suddenly divided into 2 teams. Xiao Yan and Yuan Feng were a pair, and the other 9 were a pair. You guys! Yuan Feng couldn't help frowning when he saw this scene. Captain, the troops are divided into 2 groups, that's all. Saru Yi said, let's go. Xiao Yan was powerless to quibble, and immediately headed towards Yuanhe. Hey, I hope these guys are all right. Yuan Feng heard the words and separated from each other and followed Xiao Yan. No matter what Xiao Yan is, Yuan Feng, as the captain, naturally wants to protect this guy. HMPH, isn't it just some powerful person? Really think they are some kind of thing, only in the middle stage of 5-star fighting immortal. The 9 people couldn't help muttering when they saw Xiao Yan and the 2 leaving. Everyone is quite convinced of Hao Nier's rule and management, but it is this kind of respect that makes Hao Nier a goddess that no one can violate in Soul Eater domain. Xiao Yan was actually with Hao Ni at that time. As soon as the news of the children being side by side came out, it immediately made him a thorn in the eyes of everyone, so they were deeply resentful. The power division of Soul Eater domain, the Lord of Soul Eater, followed by the 4 guardians, the 7 courtyards, and the elders. Xiaoyan Xiaoxia, I hope you don't take what happened just now. The intentions of these guys are not bad, it's just because of Queen Hao Nier. Xiao Yan and Yuan Feng walked towards Yuanhe. Yuan Feng hurriedly explained, for some reason, Yuan Feng's mid-stage strength of 6-star fighting immortals, they all felt an unfathomable feeling from Xiao Yan, which made Yuan Feng quite puzzled. Queen Hao Nier? Xiao Yan wondered. Since the Lord of Soul Eater disappeared, Lord Hao Nier took over Soul Eater Realm and issued various decrees, making Soul Eater Realm unprecedentedly prosperous, so the Queen is sacred and inviolable in the hearts of everyone, Master Xiao Yan. The hero and the Queen are side by side, so. Yuan Feng grinned. Sure enough, it's a beauty and a disaster. Xiao Yan smiled helplessly, but I have to say that senior sister Hao Nier is the top in terms of strength and beauty. Gotcha! The moment the 2 of them were talking, a few figures appeared on the sidewalk, and they looked like fallen guards. Wait, someone is here. After a while, Xiao Yan said nothing, gently lifted Yuanfeng's clothes, wrapped the 2 with his soul power, and drowned them in the Yuanhe. This guy, so strong. At this time, Yuanfeng discovered that Xiaoyan's soul power had reached the late stage of Taishu, and even this keen perception was even more surprising.